Giving all praise, honor, glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RACHAQUADASH. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and the sincere shalom to the Iconist out there pushing the sincerity and the truth and the sound doctrine. This is going to be a sort of a quick video on putting your salvation first. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. And this is not a video pointed towards anybody, as really none of my videos usually are. This is just in general. When I do videos like this, I kind of talk about myself first, because this is all, like I said, this pertains to all of us, really. Just put your salvation first. Think about your salvation, all right? We've had guys leave Great Millstone, or leave this camp specifically, and Great Millstone in general, because a lot of times they couldn't handle being God on about being God on about certain things, being rebuked about certain things. All right. And in my opinion, that's no reason to leave. You know what I mean? But you are not thinking about your salvation. You're thinking carnality. What are these men getting on me about? You know what I mean? That I can do better. Even if you believe that you're right, there is a reason that you're getting God on about that certain thing. Right. It took me a little while to understand that, and now I get it, because I would get God on about something. I would get God on about something that I've done 6 to 7 to 8 months prior. After I got God on about that one thing. So I get God on about something, and I'll be like, well, I didn't do it. Eight months later, you find yourself doing the exact same thing that you got God on about. And only a spiritual person would understand that. Because when it happens and I get God on about it again, it was like, oh crap, that's what I just got God on about months ago. You know what I mean? So the point is, put your salvation first. Don't take rebukes or anything like that personally. Put your salvation first. Right? So, like I said, just put your salvation first. Don't take these reviews like, oh man, because if you're doing that, then you're just wicked. You know what I mean? You can't take a rebuke. You're just wicked. You know what I mean? It's to help you. All right. So this section is actually called a father's discipline. All right. Hebrews. We're gonna start at Hebrews chapter 12, verse 5. All right. It says, "And ye have forgotten the exhortation, all right, which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him." Right. I'm gonna get this in another translation just to see what it says there. All right. NLT is usually, I kind of like the NLT. It's not bad. So yeah, it says, "And you have completely forgotten his word of encouragement that addresses you as a father addresses his son." So like it says, "And have you completely forgotten this word of encouragement," all right, "that addresses you as a father addresses his son?" It says, "My son, do not make light of the Lord's discipline, and do not lose heart when he rebukes you." I had to really, that's a good one, man. That's why I wanted to get that when it said don't be faint, because when you talk about faint of heart, you're losing of heart. I had to really, and sometimes I still do. I have to really work on that last part right there. I'm the type that will take it, but sometimes I take it a little too much. You know what I mean? I kind of, I wouldn't say I lost heart, but it's good to take it in, and it's good to kind of be a little hard on yourself. It's fine, but don't let it ruin. So I say don't let it ruin your day, pretty much. You know what I mean? To an extent. Just learn from it, pray, pick yourself up. You know what I mean? Learn from it, pray, pick yourself up. Right? Like I said, these are words that I gotta practice myself. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you, man. Right? Do not lose heart when he rebukes you. Oh my goodness. Oh man, because when you getting God on, your first intention, because we're in this flesh, your first intention is like, man, I done did wrong again, man. I don't want to be no failure. And then, you know, some people's reaction is automatic defense. Is automatic defense. You know what I mean? That's, that comes from not wanting to be wrong. You don't want to be a failure. You don't want to fail yourself. But again, we're in this flesh. You're going to go off. You know what I mean? You just take it. You're going to go off. Everybody does. When you get God on and you get rebuked, you are not going through a unique experience. You're not, because everybody has gotten rebuked. If you are a brother in Great Millstone, you have gotten rebuked more than at least 5 times, depending on how long you've been here. I'm talking about at least 5 times. When you get God on, it's because you are loved, man. Okay, you are loved. You are cared for. You're cared about. You know what I mean? Look at the bright side of things, man. Be happy that you're getting God on about something instead of just being, left out there and just continuing on being a bullshitter. Be happy that you're getting God on about something, man. Right? That's good. Right? It says because the Lord disciplines the one he loves. It says, and he chastens everyone he accepts as his son. There we go. If you're not going through something, you know what I mean? This is why us at Great Millstone, man, we'll sit up there and say, man, look, if you ain't going through some type of trouble in the flesh, no matter what it is, it don't have to be women. It so happen to be that women is one of the biggest things that Jake have troubles with. But it don't have to be women, right? Because me personally, I don't even deal with the woman. I have my own issues. You know what I mean? I have my own issues when it comes to a lot of things, man. Right? So it doesn't have to be women. But if you're not going through some type of trouble in the flesh, then we always say you gotta really consider if you are chosen. Like if you're just coasting along and you're not even realizing it, something's up. You know what I mean? You're just coasting along. All right. It says endure hardship as discipline. All right. God is treating you as his children. For what children are not disciplined by their father? Well, I mean, you got today's society. I mean, you forget about that. But anyway, it says if you are not disciplined and everyone undergoes discipline, then you are not legitimate. Wow. Oh man. Let me read that again. It says if you are not disciplined and everyone undergoes discipline. So if you out of the bunch is not disciplined, right? But everybody else is in the process of being disciplined, and undergoes discipline. It says then you are not legitimate, not true sons and daughters at all. Oh boy. So this goes to you daughters of Zion out there that hate getting God on. Wow. That's a good one. That's one to save. Uh that was in the NLT. That's one to save right there. It says, but if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers. Wow. It says then are ye bastards and not sons. Okay. Okay. Yep. Well, look, man, the Bible doesn't sugarcoat anything. It is what it is. It's just the way it's being taught to people. You know what I mean? It's just the way it's being taught to people. What's crazy is um it doesn't even mention daughters here. And it makes sense because what they try to do in this new NLT, it's a it's like a twofold thing because it's kind of strange that it even mentioned the daughters, but above on the NLT it just said son. Now, but later on it says son and daughter. But it just further proved that when you talk about the men, you're talking about the women as well. All right. When you talk about a man's household, you're talking about his woman, and you're talking about his children. Yeah, his children, and anybody else that's under that household, because he's the head of the house. So anybody else that's the head of the household, when you talk about that man, you talk about the entire family. You talk about the entire family, because that's where father comes from, family, right? So, but what the NLT tries to do, this is why I just mentioned sons. What the NLT tries to do is they try to put sons and daughters on an equal scaling, and it doesn't work like that. But it's also funny that it even mentioned daughters too, because like I said, that goes to you Israelite women out there that hate getting got on. Get on our comment boards and give us the blues when we get on you. It's not all it's sisters. One woman got on the elders page and said, yeah, we got. She had a problem with us saying a few sisters. Well, that means you're a brute, and we're gonna get that in a minute because there's a scripture that says that if you hate chastisement, you're a brute. All right. Well, let's get Proverbs 9:7. It says, "He that reproveth a scorner getteth him to himself shame, and he that rebuketh a wicked man getteth himself a blot." So what is this? What is this? What is this saying? This is saying if you are rebuking a wicked person, pretty much a mock or anything like that, as some of the other translations say, then let's get it real quick. This is exactly what this is saying, right? Whoever corrects a mocker invites insult, so which means you're doing it to yourself. You know what I mean? If you're trying to go back and forth and correct a person that ain't trying to be correct, that ain't trying to hear you, then you're just doing it to yourself. It says it says whoever rebukes the wicked incurs abuse, which means you're asking to be abused by this wicked person. You know what I mean? It says, do not rebuke mockers, or they will hate you. Right? Rebuke the wise, and they will love you. Right? So if you are one of those people that hate rebuke, then you're a scorner, you're a mocker, you're wicked. All right. But if you rebuke a wise man, if you're a person that takes rebukes, I'm not just sitting up there because you got mockers and scorners that act like they take rebukes. That'll say, "Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. Yep, I got it," and end up doing the same repetitive thing over and over and over and over and over again, right? Well, then that's when you got a mocker. They're just the other kind that'll just kind of accept the rebuke, but don't go forth by it. Don't go forth. Don't go through with it, right? It says, "Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in knowledge." Right? This is the fear of the Lord. This is the point here. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. Right? That should be your focus when you're getting got on, man. You know, your salvation and the fear of the Lord, that comes first. All your other personal feelings and whatever else, put that stuff behind, man. Leave that stuff behind. That's got no room. That's got no room here. All right. Let's go on. Now this is that part about it, about you being a brute. For all you men, and all you women out there that hate correction. All right. All you Israelite, I ain't talking about the 2/3, man. I'm talking about you women that call yourself Israelite women. All right. That claim to follow it. When it comes to that whole Lord thing, I'll save that for another video. When a woman claims to be serving the Lord. Well, I'll save that for another video. All right. Cause there's a chain of command with that too. All right. So if you're an Israelite woman and you claiming to serve the Lord, I get certain circumstances, but your Lord is your husband, by the way. There's a certain chain. There's a chain of command. You are not jumping to the Lord without without your husband. It is what it is, man. A lot of you women and a lot of men hate us saying that, but we're not changing that tune, right? Proverbs 12:1. It says, Whoso loveth instruction loveth knowledge, but he that hateth reproof is brutish. I don't have to break that down. Let's go on to the next one. Proverbs 15:32. He that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul, which means you really do hate yourself if you despise righteous instruction, instruction that's going to help you, instruction that's, that can really preserve your soul through the spirit of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. That means you really despise yourself. All right. It says, but he that heareth reproof getteth understanding. The fear of the Lord. Here we go again. You see where it keeps talking about the fear of the Lord, the fear of the Lord, the fear of the Lord. Every single time it talks about reproof and correction and rebuking, because this is telling you where this is coming from. The fear of the Lord is the instruction is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. And you got a lot of worldly people out there that'll sit out there and say, well, yeah, because God, he instructs me, he does this, he does that. He's not going to beam down in front of you and instruct you. Okay? He's more than likely going to instruct you by a person on this planet. And that's how he's always done it. Do you think any time is different? Do you think this time is different? Whenever the Lord does things, he never just beamed down and did it himself. He used people to do it. Whether that be Israelites, whether that be Moabites, whether it be Philistines, for example. When the Lord punishes people, does he do it himself? I'm talking about just himself without anybody else. No. He does it through, he used Philistines, the Philistines, to oppress us each and every single time that, or in other nations to oppress us each and every time. When the Lord was with us, he used us. If he wanted Jericho to be taken, because that was of the Lord, that was commanded by the Lord. If he wants Jericho to be taken, he could have easily just beamed down on earth and smote at Jericho and say, yeah, this is mine. But no, he always did it through people. He always did it through people. He used the people on this earth, man, to do whatever bidding he wants. So when it comes to correction, instruction, reproof, rebuking, well, he does it through people. Not just beam down to you and say, look, this is this, that, and this is the other. He never did that. He never will. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's all I got on this video. Giving all praise and all the glory to Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI BAHASHAM. Shalom.